This is Jodecidal signing on for NJS4E.com. The summer is coming as we laid the foundation for the events to come in 2006 and 2007, with interviews, parties, New Jack Talk and much more. Today, NJS4E has the pleasure of interviewing the legendary producer who helped kickstart Mary J. Blige's career. He's also responsible for an array of hits by Madonna, Mariah Carey. Yep, he's the guy that did Fantasy and Dream Lover, as well as Usher and Michael Jackson. This is by no way a conclusive list, as he has produced more classic tunes than most producers can fathom within their lifetime. He was a part of the revered and highly respected Untouchables crew, headed up by DJ Eddie F. He is none other than Dave Jam Hall. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Hall.
Good afternoon to you, man.
So how did you find your passion for the music?
Well, I found my passion. My father was a musician. He played the piano, and he taught me how to play the piano. And then when I got to be, like in high school, about 16, 17, I started wanting to make records. So I started developing that skill and just learning as much as I can about how you make and produce records. And I started out just doing a lot of whatever I could do to get in the studio. I would do songs for people, and they would take my songs and say they did it, and in return they would give me free studio time. And I just did it because I wanted to be in the studio and learn how to make records. And that's how I started getting things going on, because I didn't have a lot of money. And so I had to do whatever I needed to do to get in the studio so I could make records. Because back then it was different. The money was different. Back then, if you to have equipment at your house cost a whole lot of money.
Sure.
From now, it's different. You can spend $2,000 have a nice setup in today's market. But back in the late 80s, you had to spend $15,000, and that wasn't within my reach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So which of these artists did you do tracks for that you didn't take money for? You just did it for studio time.
I did a lot of stuff back in the day with Grand Poobah from Brand Nubians, and he was a rap group, and he would let me go in the studio with them. Basically, if I drove them to the studio in my car.
Sure.
So and that's how I did my first record that got me a little bit of notice from people that was in the business, like Eddie F. I did a record on Brand Nubian's first album. It wasn't that great a record, but it got me noticed. That to the point that Eddie F gave me a call out of the blue because he heard that record. And I basically got through that record because I was just basically going to the studio with them and helping them do little things in the studio. And one day they wanted to do an R&B hip-hop record, and I was sitting in the back of the studio, and they said, well, don't you play keyboard? I said, yeah. Well, let's try to get something together. We did a record. It was called Trying to Do Me.
Brand Nubian.
Yeah, on Brand Nubian's first album.
I love that song, man.
Yeah. So that's how that started. So I did a lot of things like that just to do whatever I could do to get in the studio and be around that environment.
Was that your first song that you ever produced?
That was the first song I ever produced, yeah. That was the record on Brand Nubian.
Okay.
And I was friends with Grand Poobah, the lead rapper.
Yeah. So was that how your journey within the music industry began?
To me, yeah, it did. That was the first person that gave me a shot. I was going around, I had a lot of tracks, and how the same way it is now. If somebody don't bring you in that they know or they trust, they're not gonna give you a shot.
Sure.
So that was the first person who gave me a shot to do a record on a major label. He was on Elektra at that time. Brand New was signed to Elektra Records.
So how did the whole Eddie F and Untouchables connection come into play? So from that record, what happened then?
Okay, this was with the Eddie F and Untouchables. I knew Eddie from high school, because back in high school, we had a mutual friend, and we would do parties, like DJ parties, for high school and college parties. And I kind of knew him before he started off with the Heavy D and the Boys, and then I knew them from the parties, from doing parties with them. When he got a break, with Heavy D and the Boys with Mr. Big Stuff and those songs that was Heavy D's first record. So they lived in the same town as me.
Mount Vernon?
We all came from Mount Vernon, all of us. Pete Rock, Eddie F, Albie Shore, Kyle West, you all from Mount Vernon.
Wow. What was it about that town? Because there seems to be a lot of talent from there. Heavy D, you just mentioned Heavy D, Albie Shaw, Carl West, all legends in their own right.
I don't know. I think because Mount Vernon was close enough to New York City, like I could walk to the train in New York City from my house, but it wasn't the city.
Yeah.
So I guess it was like a middle class black city, where I guess my mother had we wasn't rich, but she could afford to send me to piano lessons and stuff like that. But we still was able enough, close enough to the city to get the city influence. And to be honest with you, hip hop, which is the basis of New Jack Swing, started in the Bronx, and Mount Vernon is right next to the Bronx.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I knew all those people when they first started out, all those pioneer rap people, like, Africa Bambaataa and people like that, as a DJ DST, a lot of these people are pioneers in the hip-hop game that they kind of rubbed off of Mount Vernon. And then a lot of people came from Mount Vernon. Puffy was from Mount Vernon, Puff Daddy. And he used to come to parties that we did. He was like a real good dancer, and we all knew the same people. So it's a small town. It's only 4 square miles, but a lot of people came out of that town.
Speaking of New York, what's your favorite city in the world? Because for me, I have to say it's New York City. I just love that city. There's such an energy about it, and I've seen over the years that there's just so much talent coming out of that place. That's from a musical point of view. But what is Dave Jam Hall's favorite city in the world?
My favorite city, because it is my home, my hometown, I would say is New York City. I think I just feel comfortable there. It's just got all the energy. It's got a lot of energy and a lot of diverse races, and everybody's kind of coexisting, and it's a lot of energy there. To me, it's the energy I like.
Yeah.
If you go there, it's the energy. You can go downtown 2, 3 in the morning, and you can find space to eat or go to a club, and you can just meet people and network and do positive things. I think New York sets trends, and that's what I like. Some other cities are nice cities, but sometimes to me they don't really start nothing. They might take something and run with it, but they don't really start trends.
What is it about that city though? I don't understand it. New York City it's like a hub of everything. It just goes above and beyond anything that any other city in the world tries to emulate. You just take things to another level out there.
Well, like I said, I think it's a place where anybody can come, and if they got some desire and some drive and some focus, they can make something out of themselves.
Okay.
And New York is open to I think new ideas, and there's a lot of opportunities for you to get involved in positive things that's going to make you change your life. And that's what's good about New York. You can go down, because it's so small, like Manhattan, the city of, the borough of Manhattan is so small. If you're in Manhattan, you're going to bump into somebody that could, make things happen if you got some talent. You feel me?
Yeah, sure.
So I'll be in New York, and I'll just be walking down the street, and you're bumping somebody who's like a CEO or vice president of A&R at a label. Which any other city, if you went to L.A., that's not going to happen.
LA's like some, I don't know what, LA's it's so big. LA's too big. New York, everything's just compact. Everything's in Manhattan.
Everything is compact, right? You can take a cab and you're right downtown.
Exactly.
Simple. LA is all spread out, so even though the people are out there also, but if you don't know where they're at, you ain't going to see them.
Yeah, they're in the village or something.
You know what I'm saying? They're by the beach or something.
Or something, yeah.